Taking just a couple moments to get onto our mat, maybe shifting around a little bit, getting those fidgets out, those wiggles out. You can use a blanket or a towel so that you can prop yourself up a little bit higher. I like to sit on the edge of mine so that my pelvis is a little higher than my knees. And then optional, if you want to have blocks handy, they're nice to have, or you can have books handy. It is not completely necessary, but it's also good just to have to bring the earth up to you if need be. So that said, let's go ahead and close the eyes down. Draw in a great big inhale. Arrive in your space and exhale, let it go. Inhale, draw the shoulders up towards the ears, hold for a moment. And exhale, let them release down the back and let go. Again, inhale, bring those shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale, release and let go. One more time, inhale. Shoulders come up, hold for just a moment. And exhale, release the shoulders and release any tension in the body that you are holding on to. Closing the eyes down for just another breath or two, checking in, and seeing what the body is craving and needs. Opening the eyes. We're going to start with our shoulder work. We're going to be doing a lot of deep stretches throughout this practice. So we'll be holding the poses a little bit longer for that deep stretch so we can get into the connective tissues. If there is something uncomfortable, then please modify and don't feel like you have to stay and hang out in something that's not working for you. We're going to do a little bit of movement to warm up the body, and then we'll be holding these postures a little bit longer. So let's start with the shoulder area. The first thing that we're going to do is let's take that right hand across the body and hold onto it, cradling it with the left hand on the bicep. Thumb is facing up towards the ceiling, and make sure that we're not hiking that shoulder up towards the throat, that we're keeping it across at chest level. So thumb is up. And then very, very slowly start to turn the palm so that the thumb is facing down. Hold for just a moment. And then slowly turn the hand so thumb is facing up. Nice widening into each one of the fingertips. And then slowly take that hand back down, thumb is down, palm is facing forward. Hold for just a moment. And then bring that thumb back up and release the cross of the arm. Take the arms out nice and wide. And then we're going to bring the palms towards each other and tuck the chin in towards chest. Take the arms out, float big and wide, open the chest. And then dip in, bringing palms towards each other. One more time, floating nice and wide and open here. And then bring the hands down. We're going to take that right hand and place it on the right hip. So palm is facing out and this elbow is facing in. We're going to take a hold of that elbow with that right hand and just gently guide the elbow into center. You'll feel the sensation pretty quick, so don't push past that sensation. And if that feels really uncomfortable, just turn the palm so that it is embracing the waistline. Sit up nice and tall, and just breathe here. Very gently release the hand from that elbow and bring the arms back down. Taking arms out, we're going to cross now that opposite arm, taking now that left hand across the body and cradling it with the right hand. Thumb is facing up and shoulder is down in the shoulder socket area, not hiked up. Very slowly start to turn the thumb down towards the earth. Just as slowly start to crank that thumb up. And one more time, turning it down. And raising the thumb back up. Pause for just a moment. And then without slingshotting, release the arms and take them out nice and wide. Tuck chin in, bring palms towards each other. Open out and dip back in. Once more, opening nice and wide, and then dipping back in, chin towards chest. Hold here for a moment. Raise the head and release the hands down. We'll take that left hand now, placing the palm out to the side. So we're just snuggling it right there along the waistline. Take the hand over to that elbow and just gently start to bring it to center. Not too much of a tug or crank here. You'll feel the sensation and you'll know when it's enough. Stay sitting up nice and tall and take a few breaths. Release the hand from the elbow and take the arms down. Nice. Getting into the shoulders a little bit more. Let's take those arms out back into that wide T. Taking that right hand underneath the left hand, find our eagle arms here. If this is uncomfortable, just simply stack the elbows on top of each other and snuggle the hands into the shoulders. Start to raise the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then bring the elbow points back down to chest. Raise up. And lower down. One more time, raising up. Lower down. Release the cross of the arms, come out into that wide T, and we'll switch to the other side. So now that left hand will swoop underneath the right hand, and you can find the cross here, or just simply stack the shoulders and the elbows, or I should say elbows and holding on the shoulders. Pulling that belly button so that we're staying nice and tall and protecting the lower back. Raise the fingertips up towards the ceiling and lower back down. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale down. One more time, inhale up. Exhale down. Release the cross of the arms and then bring the hands behind. Interlace the fingertips, and then we'll press the fingertips down towards the earth. So roll that chest open, open the heart, maybe peek up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing away and down. Release the hands and bring them back around to the left. Let's find a few neck rolls after we worked into those shoulders. We might be holding some tension there. Dip the chin down towards the chest. And then just take a little peek over towards that right hand. As if we're looking into a pocket here on our shirt. Very slowly and gently bring the head across and peek over towards that left knee. Now find some gentle movement here. Maybe it's rolling the neck all the way through. And if that's not in your practice today, just continue to tick-tock the chin towards each one of the shoulders a few times. Whatever feels good for your neck. Make this practice all about you. And if you are finding those full neck rolls, make sure to get to the other side. And slowly bring the head back up to center. We're going to take the legs out long and into a V kind of shape. It doesn't need to be super wide. I'm just going to get into that spine a little bit before we start to hold our stretches. So start to bring that chest over towards that right knee and then over towards the left. So rocking all the way around and through a few times. Feel a nice stretch in the hips and the inner groin area, as well as the spine as we draw these circles all the way around. Just a few more times in this direction. Maybe place the hands onto the earth so you can come back around a little bit more. Starting to engage in the abdominals as well as we roll back. And then switch directions to the other side. And then slowly come on back up. We're going to zip those legs together and come around into our tabletop position. You're welcome to use that blanket or towel to pad up the knees. I'm just going to move my blocks, my props out of the way here for a moment. When you arrive into this tabletop position, widen the fingertips so that we can protect the wrists and turn the palms out so we create that L shape towards the front of the mat. Knees are stacked right underneath the hips. And let's just do a little bit of gentle movement here. So drop the hips down towards the heels into a child's pose for just a moment. We're not coming all the way down, but we're just starting to get that stretch into back body. Press into the palms and starting with the chest, bend into the elbows and come all the way through into our cow pose. Tuck the chin in towards chest, bring that pelvis in towards the ribs, round into the upper back. Keep pressing firmly the palms down. See if you can find that dome shape with the back. And then dip the hips back down towards the heels, stretch into a child's pose here. Bend the elbows down as we slowly shift all the way back up and through into our cow. Take a peek up towards the ceiling. Let that belly drop down so that we can get that back bend here, that nice stretch in the obliques. Start to tip that tailbone in and that chin in towards the chest, round all the way through into our cat. And then shift the hips back once more down to child's pose. Bend the elbows, articulate the spine as if you're snaking through and come all the way back up. Walk the handprints forward, and then we're going to lower the elbows down where we just had the handprints. Let's walk the legs back slightly and then bow the head down. Allow the chest to come down towards those elbows, but keep the tailbone up. Melt the heart here in our puppy pose. Nice shoulder opener. You should feel really good in the back body too. 3 more long, deep breaths. Feel the forehead away from the earth and slowly come back. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders and the knees back underneath the hips in our tabletop position. Extend that left foot behind, tuck the toe underneath and keep pressing that heel down towards the mat and towards the back of the room. Check in with the hands And make sure that we're not swaying to one side, that we're pressing firmly and evenly into the hands. You're going to take that foot and slowly draw it across the body behind that bent knee and take a peek over that right shoulder towards that extended left leg. This nice stretch in the side body. It should feel this in our IT band and our psoas as well. It should feel good also in our Achilles and in the foot. Very slowly bring that leg back around, bend the knee and place it down on the earth. Let's do that on the other side, extending that foot back on that right side. Really try to drop that heel down. So we get that good stretch into the fascia of the foot. Fascia of the foot, say that twice as fast. Draw the leg across over towards that bent knee and take a peek over the shoulder towards that extended leg. Just notice where you're feeling the sensation of the stretch in the body. And take your time to bring that leg back around underneath the carriage of the hip. Walk the hands forward, tuck the toes underneath, and then draw the tailbone up, and we'll find our downward facing dog. Bend into that right knee while that left heel comes down towards the earth. Take a peek under the right shoulder. Straightening that knee, now bending into the opposite knee and peeking underneath that left shoulder. Straighten both heels down towards the earth. They may not come all the way down, and that's just fine. Take one more deep inhale here. And an exhale, side out and let it go. Bend the knees generously, peek towards the front of the mat, and then take a few steps all the way up, and we'll meet at the top of the mat in a forward fold. In our forward fold, let's go ahead and put the bend into the knees since this is the first time. If we would like, we can bring the hands, interlace them behind the head, not pulling or dragging the head down, just giving a little extra gravity and guidance here. Feel free to find a sway or a pedal in the feet, exploring how the body feels and what the body needs. If you have the hands clasped anyway, release them down. Bring the hands to the shins and find a halfway lift. Flat back. Tuck that chin so that you get a little bit longer in the neck. And then release all the way back down, forward fold. Bend the knees and come all the way up. Tall mountain, hands above the head. Practice the heart open here. Bring those elbow points towards each other. Imagine as if you were holding a pencil between the shoulder blades. Press those elbow points together. And even though we're bringing that chest up, see if we can keep that belly button and those lower ribs knitted in towards the spine. Bring our energy in. Inhale, fingertips come up. Exhale, melt all the way back down, forward fold. Take the hands up to the top of the thighs. Snuggle those little grasshopper elbows in towards the ribs and find that halfway lift. Extend the crown towards the front of the mat and that tail towards the back of the mat. Shoulders stay rolled away from the ears. Maybe tuck that chin in just a little bit more so we can get some more extension. Low to the hamstrings. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale, release all the way back down, forward fold. Press into the feet, bend into the knees, and sweep all the way back up tall. Taking a hold of that right wrist with that left hand, dip over towards the left side of the mat. Now we're going to take that right foot out, step it behind to the opposite side, and this way we can also get into the lower half of the body, as well as this great shoulder and side opener here. So you can press back a little bit more. Keep breathing. Unwind and release the palm and come back around to center. We're going to do that on the opposite side now. So raise the hands up, take a hold of that opposite wrist, dip over towards the right side. Step that left foot behind that right foot and stretch and reach over here. Grow tall. Keep reaching across the body. One more inhale. And on the exhale, unwind and come back around. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears and release them down the back. One more time, roll them up and through and release down. Feel that good flush of energy in the body. And now draw the inhale up. Exhale, melt all the way back down, forward fold. Hands come to the top of the shins, halfway lift. Melt down, forward fold. Hands come to the top of the thighs, elbows really press into the body. Half lift, imagine as if you had a teacup that you can rest on your back. That neck is in line with spine, and we keep that tailbone pressing back. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, melt all the way back down. Place the hands onto the earth and step both feet back into that down dog. Pause for just a moment here. Then bend the knees and come back down into that tabletop position. We're going to slowly lower all the way down onto the chest. Bring those elbows down right underneath the shoulders. We're going to come into our Sphinx posture. So walk the feet a little bit wider. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and towards the tailbone. So we get this back, get this nice little back arch here. Keep gaze forward. And imagine as if you were holding maybe a peach between the chin and the chest. So we're not tossing the head back, but we're keeping this nice right peach from leaking all over. Keep pressing that tailbone, or excuse me, not tailbone, the pubic bone and the belly down, the top of the thighs. One more breath in this back bend. Chin dips down towards the chest, keep shoulders away. And then raise the head back up. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Press up into that tabletop position. Knees come underneath the hips. Tuck the toes underneath. Peel that tailbone up. Downward facing dog. We're going to take that left foot and just step it up about 2 steps forward here. So coming into our pyramid pose, we want that front leg straight and both of the feet flat onto the mat. Bring the hands to the hips and slowly raise all the way up to standing so that we can shift and adjust and make sure everything's pointing towards the front. So we want those hips forward and those toes forward and those shoulders forward. We're going to start to bow down Bring the palms behind. Allow them to float up high. So we're keeping the hands in line with the upper part of our body. And we're pressing firmly into both feet. That front leg is straight, but have at least a micro bend here. And this beautiful stretch into the back of the leg and into our back body. Sweep the hands up, come all the way up. And step that back foot to meet front foot. Pause for a minute and just feel the difference between the leg that we were just working in compared to the leg that needs a little more love. Inhale, fingertips come up. Exhale, melt all the way back down, forward fold. Hold here for just a moment. See if we can melt that heart down a little closer to the thighs. See if we can bring that tailbone up towards the ceiling just a little bit more. Place the hands down onto the earth. Step the feet back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees and bring them all the way down to the earth. Walk the hands forward as we come down. Elbows are right underneath the shoulders. Coming back into that Sphinx posture. Roll the shoulders back. Imagine that little peach again between chin and chest. Notice if you're holding any tension in the lower back. Maybe shift the hips a little side to side or walk the feet a little bit wider. Take a few breaths. Very slowly, take a peek over that left shoulder. Dipping chin down. And now take a peek over the right shoulder. Rotate the head back around. Allow the chin to come down towards the chest, but keep those shoulders pressing back towards the tailbone. Draw a line and peek up. Bring the palms back underneath the shoulders. Tuck back toes underneath and come again into our tabletop position. Keeping those toes tucked underneath. Raise the hips up, downward facing dog. We're going to raise now that right heel and then just step it up and through about 2 steps forward. And keep that knee bent as we slowly raise the hands to the hips and come all the way up into our pyramid pose again. So straightening that front leg but not locking the knee out. Hands come to the hips. Make sure that they're shining forward like headlights. Both sets of toes are facing towards the front. Hinge at the waistline. Come to that half lift, and then extend the palms towards the back. So we're looking for a lot of opposition here, of pressing the hands and the shoulders away as we're bringing that crown of the head towards the front. Gaze is down. And that back hip is pressing towards the front of the mat, while that front hip is pressing towards the back of the mat. Draw that belly button in towards the spine. Sweep the hands up, come all the way up. Step that back foot up, and then gentle hands here. Down apart and kind of feel now how both legs are feeling after giving them that good stretch in our pyramid pose. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up. Exhale, melt the chest all the way down, forward fold. Place the hands onto the earth. Now stepping that left foot back, Lower down to the knee, coming into our lunge position. So now we're in this lower lunge. If you want to use blocks, you can use them to frame the front foot. I'm going to scooch that back leg back just a little bit more. Take the hands to the top of the thigh and roll open here. So we're thinking about squeezing both of the thighs to the midline, to the center. We're keeping up nice and tall, got a little wobble there. And we're sinking that front hip down, but the knee is staying stacked over the front ankle. Raise the palms up, roll shoulders down, and hold here. Should feel a nice stretch and opening into that front hip flexor on the back leg. We're going to bring the palms down, but bring them both down to the inside of the leg. Walk that foot out just a little bit wider. So coming into a lizard variation here, press the hands down onto the earth and step that back foot back just a little bit more. Keeping knee still in line with the ankle. You can turn the toes out if you would like to. But again, keep the knee in line with ankle. If we want a little bit more, you can bring that right hand onto that right thigh, right knee, and open up just a little bit more. Or you can stay right here, nice and tall. Make sure to breathe into any discomfort. Discomfort's one thing, but no pain. So if you feel any pain, go ahead and come out of the posture. If you're holding on to the leg, release the hand down, shift back a little bit, and walk the foot into center. Tuck the back toe underneath, raise that knee up off of the earth, and step the foot all the way to the front of the mat into our forward fold. Press into the feet, bend into the knees, and come all the way back up. And then this is where you can use a block or a book or anything that can bring the earth up to you, or you can simply come down onto your mat. But I'm going to take a block and replace it in front of my right foot. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and come back down into that forward fold. Plant the right hand onto the block for the earth and then bend into the right knee. When you're ready, go ahead and extend that left hand above the head. Stacking the shoulders over each other and see if you can twist open a little bit more. Maybe bend into that right knee a little bit more. Nice fluid breath. Taking that top arm, we're going to gently bring it around to that opposite hip. So that hip is coming around to the right hip, and we're peeling the heart open. Extend that hand long. Turn the torso and turn the palm and come back down into this forward fold. Plant the hands onto the earth, step back, downward facing dog. Shift forward onto the knees. Let's just take a few cat-cows here. Tuck toes back underneath, raise the hip points up. And I'm going to take a walk all the way back to the front of the mat. Half lift, melt down. Press into feet, bend into knees, and sweep all the way back up. Find a gentle back bend here of your choice. And then raise back up. Release palms, come all the way back down. This time we're going to step that left foot back. Right foot back. Step that right foot back. Keep that left foot forward. Lower the knee down to the earth. You can step the foot back a little bit more if you would like. We're going to find our center here by bringing the palms on top of that front thigh. Just hold here for a moment. And again, think about squeezing both thighs into center. Keeping spine long. We're not collapsing down. We want to be tall here. Raise the hands up and sink that tailbone down or that front hip down just a little bit more. Without collapsing forward, we're still staying nice and tall. Hands come down to the inside of the foot. Walk that foot a little bit out. Or a lot bit out, just depending on where your body is today. I like to take that foot back, that back foot, that right foot back a little bit further. And then another option is to take that left hand to the top of that left thigh and press it open a little bit more. Finding a twist here, getting a little bit deeper into that groin and inner thigh. If that's too much, you do not have to go there. Using that breath to create space. And if you cannot breathe easily, then back off a little bit. Listen to what the body needs. You bring that hand back down into center and heel the foot back, framing the back foot. Tuck that back toe underneath, raise the knee up off of the earth, and step it all the way to the front of the mat. Into our forward fold once again. Halfway lift. And then melt down. Get some momentum, sweep all the way up to standing. Hands gently come back in. We're going to find that twist on the opposite side now. So you're welcome to use that block or book. Or if you're feeling like you're good to go down to the earth, then that's fine too. So bending now into the left knee. Fingertips come up. Melt all the way back down into that forward fold. Hand is on the block on that left side at whatever height you would like. Bend into the knee. And when you feel ready, start to peel the heart open and raise that palm up. Stacking the shoulders here, feeling this good stretch now into that right IT band. We're going to stay in this open posture for another moment, but I'm bringing the palm down to that left hip. So instead of hunching forward, peel open a little bit more. Bend into that knee a little bit more. Long, deep breathing. Extend the hand long again. And then slowly turn the torso and come back around for our last forward fold. Hang out here for just a few breaths. Maybe finding any movement or just releasing them. Seeing if we can get a little bit more relaxation in the spine. Press the hands onto the earth. And last time, step back, full body stretch in this down dog. Bend the knees and come all the way down to the earth. Swim the legs around and we'll come onto our bottom. And I bring the legs out into that V shape again. Doesn't need to be super wide. It can be a little bit closer, just whatever feels good. And you might even want to use that blanket underneath the bottom so you can get the hips up higher. Another option is if you have any pain in those knees at all, it's nice to use a block or maybe a little towel underneath those knees. All right, so let's bring that right foot in towards the inside of that left thigh. Keeping that left thigh nice and straight and long. Toes are really bright and pressing towards the, towards the face. Inhale, hands come up tall. Taking that left hand over to the right knee, crossing it over. We're going to gently start to bring the ear on that right side down towards the right knee. Taking that upper hand, just like we did when we were in our standing twist, we're going to bring that palm around and behind towards that left hip. So roll that shoulder back. And make sure that that right hand, or excuse me, left hand isn't gripping too tight onto that right knee. We can even find maybe a little bit of movement in this neck. Being slow and cautious with the neck. Hold here for just another breath or two. Now releasing that right hand back up tall. Use that arm to help you come up, both arms raise. We'll turn now towards that extended foot and then melt down here. Hands embrace both sides of the legs. Think about that nose towards the knee, and we'll remind that right hip to stay down. Let's create a passive stretch here. So turn the palms up towards the ceiling. And allow the spine to round. And that forehead to come towards the knee just a little bit. Turn the palms back down and press into them. Slowly come all the way back up to seated. Draw that foot in so that it kisses the other foot, and we come into our Uttanasana, into our butterfly pose. Grow tall here. Take the hands to the inside, or excuse me, the outside to the shins. And just stay tall here for another breath or two. Walk the hands to hold onto the toes. Guide those shoulders back. Hinge at the hips and slowly bring that chest down. Bring the breath to back body. Holding on to those feet, slowly rise all the way back up. This time we'll extend the right leg out to the side and snuggle that left knee in towards the instep of that left, or excuse me, right side. Take a little bit of a wiggle here so you feel nice and grounded. Raise the hands up, grow tall. Now we'll take that left hand, or right hand, across to the right knee. And then bring the ear down. So taking the body across and that ear on the right side down towards that right extended leg. Taking that extended arm, wrap it around, bring it down towards the waistline, and I'll just turn that palm so that it's facing out, and we're opening up that shoulder, rolling it away and back. Check in and make sure that we're not gripping and holding on for dear life with that right hand on the left knee. And you might want to play around in the neck a little bit here. Might feel good to dip the chin down towards the shoulder, or maybe raise it up towards the upper shoulder. When you find that space that's craving a little extra attention, stay there for a few breaths. Extend the left hand back above the head and use that momentum to raise all the way up. Now turn the torso towards that extended foot and then melt the nose down towards the knee. Take a moment to adjust and shift here, and you can create this passive stretch by just turning the palms up. See if the shoulder has a tendency to want to hike up towards the ear. See if you can relax it and release it down. So a little reminder to that left hip to stay down. Two more deep breaths. Turn the palms down and help guide yourself all the way back up to seated. Bringing the feet back together at center here. I want to shift or flap those butterfly wings a few times. I'm going to find a little variation in our butterfly pose here. So I'm going to take that right foot and bring it in front, and that left foot, I'm just going to take the toes and stack it right behind the ankle here. So it's just a little off-centered. Hands come up, and then gently bring them behind the body. So now we shift that chest up. Imagine as if we're on a beach here, pressing tall, soaking in the sun. And then come up off of those hands, raise the hands up, and then we'll take the length with us and bring the palms down onto the earth. We can stay right here. This might be just enough to really feel this in that hip flexor. Or if we would like some more sensation, start to bring the forearms down and that nose down towards the toes. If you cannot breathe easy, if this is taking away your breath, then just come back up. You're going to get the same benefit of the stretch. There's no reason to press beyond that comfortable edge of your stretch. Take all the tension out of the body. And the breath is the only thing that's working here. Which isn't entirely true. We're all working here, but we're using that breath to help open those spaces. If you are in that fold, press the palms down and slowly rise all the way back up. We're going to take those legs and bring them up. I'm just going to shuffle side to side a few times. Just noticing the difference, getting that internal and external opening into the hips a few times. External rotations. And then we're going to do that on the opposite side. So now taking the feet back together into our butterfly position, I'm going to bring, remember which one I did here, bring that the right foot behind the left heel. So find that off-centered, kind of awkward stance here for a moment. Raise the hands up and then gently bring them behind, face the fingertips towards the body, and then roll the chest open here. So feel that lift up in the lower part of the body, that lift up in the heart space. Now raise the hands above the head, and we'll take this height and length with us as we fold forward, but bring the palms down just to check in here and see if this is exactly where you want to be, if this is where you feel that great sensation of a stretch. Or if you'd like a little bit more, you can start to bring the forearms down and the nose down. Even though we're holding these stretches, you do not hold the breath, because that'll just tense up the body. We want to make sure that breath is nice and fluid. You don't have to hold it so much that you're holding tension. You might even feel better just to do a little bit of a sway here, or just a rock side to side a little bit. Wherever you're at is exactly where you need to be. We're here for just a few more moments. Place the palms down, walk the body all the way back up. Release that staggered stance. Take the legs out long, give them a little shake out or roll out, whatever feels good to get that blood flow back into the legs. Awesome. For our last posture, for our last asana of this practice, I'm going to just find a relaxation posture. We're going to do a supported fish here, but we're going to use that blanket or that towel that you have and roll it up into a little roll here. Placing it right behind the tailbone. Take your time, just slowly glide yourself down. So that roll is along the length of the spine. If it feels like it's too high, take one of the rolls out. So adjust and shift. Imagine as if your shoulders are kind of hugging backwards so that they can melt down and open that heart space a little bit more. As for the feet, there's a couple different options. You can keep the knees bent. You can extend them long. Or we can find that same butterfly posture that we had when we were seated, but now it is in our supine and our backside. So test out a few of those different variations with the legs and settle in. You don't have to stay there the whole time. You can move around into something else. Wherever you're at, deepen the breath and allow that heart to crack open just a little bit more. more that we open up the heart, more space that we create, the more light and loving things can shine in. We make changes in the body, in the soul, in the heart and mind. And the support should feel really nice after all those back bends and that work that we did deep into the lower back and into the hips. So this should feel really good. If it doesn't, then go ahead and make adjustments, taking away that prop, or finding what is working for you with the arms and the legs. Slow the breath down. You're going to melt open just a little bit more. One more nice deep inhale. And then exhale, release and let it go. We're going to roll to one side. So we can gently remove the prop from underneath the back. Come back around to that back side once it's removed. And draw the knees into chest. Snuggle knees in nice and tight. And see if we can bring that tailbone up towards the ceiling a little bit more as we relax the shoulders down. Feel that compression of the legs against the belly. And then very slowly, very gently, release the legs down to the mat. You're welcome to straighten them out long, or you can keep the knees bent, whatever you would like for your final resting pose for your Shavasana. Take a few moments here to feel the effects, feel the magic of your practice in the entirety of the body. And when you're ready, go ahead and extend those hands overhead, stretch the toes down towards the bottom of the mat. Reach, reach, reach. And with an exhale, release and let go. Bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet down, and slowly rotate over to the hip and pause in our fetal position. Take one more moment here just to enjoy how the body is feeling. Press that palm onto the earth as you slowly raise all the way back up, and we meet last time in our seated position. Hands gentle into heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your practice, your energy, your light. The light within me shines and honors the light within each and every one of you. Namaste.